We'll be right back to Jesus and Pals after this.
Hey, you need to get in shape fast? Want to look your best? Tired of the other guys getting all the chicks? Are you tired of being a 90-pound weakling?
Yeah, I only weigh 90 pounds.
Then bulk up quick with Weight Gain 4000.
Yes.
With over 4,000 grams of saturated fat per serving, its patented formula is designed to enter the mouth and go directly to the stomach where it is distributed to the bloodstream. Now available at stores everywhere. Get some today and say it with me. Beefcake!
Beefcake.
Beefcake!
Beefcake.
Beefcake!
May cause irreversible damage to the kidneys and liver.
Kick ass.
Welcome to Going Down to South Park, the podcast where we have ourselves a time. Today we're here to review the second episode of all time of South Park. It is a good one. It is Weight Gain 4000. I am Dando.
Beefcake! I am Guy.
Beefcake!
Very nice to be here. Very happy to be talking about Weight Gain 4000. Very happy to be talking about South Park, in all honesty. It's a show that I haven't watched in a while, let's say. I mean, I watch it when it's on. Yeah, but there are just so many episodes now that I find myself thinking, I should go back and revisit some of the old ones. Or not even some of the old ones, but some like the mid section. Yeah,
Yep.
like seasons
Like 6 through 12 kind of thing.
yeah, or 10 through 15, something along those lines. But going back to the very beginning and watching the evolution of it and just digging that whole development of the show as it goes along has just been an absolute treat.
Yeah, well, this was the episode that essentially saved South Park. When I say saved, I mean that had this script not been good, they wouldn't have been given the chance to make more episodes because they weren't. They apparently the audience response to the pilot, Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, wasn't that well received. They didn't really. Not that I didn't like it. They just thought, I'm not really sold on this. So Comedy Central basically said to him, "Look, this is your last chance. Give us a script that's going to make us renew you guys. Well, not renew, but just give you guys a full season contract."
Yeah.
And they wrote this one whilst they were working on the film Orgasmo, which we'll get to in a few moments as well. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Orgasmo. I'm assuming you have seen Orgasmo.
I have seen Orgasmo.
Okay, well, so we'll discuss that in a few moments. But so they went to Comedy Central with this script. Comedy Central liked it, but they said to Comedy Central, if you don't renew us or give us an extension for at least 6 more episodes, we're not writing another one. So they did. And thus South Park was officially born. So yeah, this episode, for me, it's like I go back and I completely forgot. I use beefcake in my day-to-day life all the time. I mean, whenever I see a fatty, I call literally Holly, my 7-month-old baby, she's a little fatty. I call her beefcake baby, right? She's a little beefcake baby.
That's adorable.
I actually forgot that South Park was the show that gave me the beefcake quote. Was beefcake a thing before this episode?
I don't think so. I mean, look, it's a saying, absolutely.
But it wasn't like a beefcake. It wasn't a commonly used thing, was it?
Not in that way, no. I mean, you referred to a hunky dude as like a slice of beefcake or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it took on a whole new life and a whole new dimension once Cartman started sprouting it.
What's great about it is that it sort of gave people who were overweight a way to sort of pretend they were proud of being fat, like beefcake. Always made it funny to be fat. I don't know, but just this episode, man, was so funny. What do you think compared to the pilot? Do you prefer this one? I think this one was more polished.
I think this is definitely more polished. Yeah, you can see a great deal of difference between the two episodes. I like the sort of the manic, rough around the edges energy of Cartman Gets an Anal Probe. I think it's got a lot of I don't know, enthusiasm, I guess, or amateuristic energy is the best way for me to put it. I'm sure I could find a better way to put it, but that's the first thing that springs to mind. Enthusiastic amateurs made it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, most of your great artists probably started as enthusiastic amateurs, but you can really see them and feel them kicking up a notch with this episode. Now, whether they felt like they were under pressure, whether they realised, we're kind of playing for all the marbles here. I mean, I admire the Stones on Parker and Stone saying, you better like this one or we're not writing another one.
Well, they were generating a lot of buzz apparently at the time through, obviously, the spirit of Christmas and things like that. And it was one of those things where I feel like the suits at Comedy Central would have gone, we're not completely sold on this show, but we don't want anyone else to get them either.
Yeah, I think they were very wise staying aboard the Parker and Stone train. Because, as you said, they were doing Orgasmo at this time. Did you say they were writing or they making Orgasmo at this time?
They were making Orgasmo at the time. But if I said writing, that was a mistake. They were filming it.
Okay, and whether Cannibal the Musical, their other film, had been made at this time.
That was like 93, wasn't it?
I think so. I think that was their first movie. So these guys have already got a few runs on the board. Then none of these things are like big hits or anything like that. But you can tell just from looking at them, yeah, these guys have got something. It's a very rough diamond. It needs to be polished. But of course, Parker and Stone's confidence shines through. But also, you can see, okay, well, we better really sort of knuckle down and kick it up a notch. And they certainly did. I think. Look, it's hard for me to say exactly what the differences are between the two episodes. I mean, tonally, they're kind of the same, or tonally kind of similar. But this one just does feel like it's got, I don't know, just more under the bonnet. It's got like to use a bad metaphor, it's got a more powerful engine.
This one also had more than just the one story going through it. So Cartman Gets an Anal Probe was essentially about them wanting to get Ike back from the aliens.
That's
and
good, yeah.
The aliens are coming down and getting all the cows. That's the basic story of that episode. This one here, you had the Garrison Kathy Lee Gifford angle, and you had the Cartman angle.
It's got an A and a B plot, like a traditional TV sitcom,
and even like a C plot with the mayor wanting to impress everybody. And
that's
use
right,
it for political gain. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit more complex and sophisticated storytelling, which it feels funny saying complex, sophisticated about a little fat kid dosing up on weight gain protein powder, getting
really
swole.
Is though. It so is. What I liked about it was it sort of showcased the Cartman story, how people try and justify their lack of being able to control themselves. So people who just eat and eat and eat and eat, they're like, oh yeah, I'm just bulking up, bro. It's like, are you though? Or you're just getting fat?
Are you getting swole or are you getting swollen? Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. I also really loved how... So Mr. Garrison played a big role in this one, more so than the first episode. And Chef did as well. I think Chef played a big role in this one. He was in the pilot a lot, but what is great is that there's no wonder these kids are a lost cause, because these two people are the ones who sort of are the ones who are guiding these kids through life. You got Chef's the one they go to for advice, and Garrison's supposed to be the one teaching them. You look at how these two people behave in this episode, it's no wonder the kids are fucked up.
That's the thing. Garrison's the official teacher. Chef is the quote-unquote real teacher. Yeah, but neither of them providing like a positive role model or good educational boundaries in that regard. Yeah.
But this was a great showcase for Mr. Garrison as a character. I forgot it came so early on. An insight into the mind of how insane he actually is, because we see him with the puppet in the first episode, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's a bit weird. But the fact that he's actually having conversations with Mr. Puppet, it's like, okay, this guy's legit crazy.
And getting that flashback to, his fine, well, not fine work at the talent show.
Quest.
His perfectly acceptable work at the talent quest, only be upstaged by young Kathy Lee Epstein, later to be Kathy Lee Gifford. Yeah, that would light a fire under you. I think that would certainly lay the groundwork for future psychosis.
Yes, definitely. So Kathy Lee, she was the first celebrity that they parodied and attacked on South Park. This really paved the way for what the show would become, because the show, a key element of it was how they took the piss out of the celebrities like Paris Hilton and Tom Cruise and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, for listeners outside the United States, well, let's say for Australian listeners, Kathy Lee Gifford is kind of like, for Australian listeners, she's kind of like Kerry Ann Kennelly. Yeah, she's a bit of a showbiz Jill of all trades. Kathy Lee's done just about everything. She was an actor, she's a singer, mostly known as like a presenter. However, she had a morning TV show, Regis and Kathy Lee, for goodness knows how long, and I think she now has done like the fourth hour of the Today Show for something like a decade, maybe more. And it's her and another woman. They're basically like sipping on white wine at like 11 in the morning and presenting various stories. So, but she's a bit of a showbiz survivor. I mean, she has been in the game for goodness knows how long. Now, apparently, Parker and Stone chose her at random. They said, we don't have anything against Kathy Lee Gifford. We just sort of essentially pulled her name out of a hat.
Is the joke here that she doesn't actually really deserve this kind of treatment, which is why it's funny? Because I don't really know who she is. I know of her. I know what her role is in regards to American pop culture. But was she like a Regis? Was she beloved, or was she disliked?
I think she was
annoying to people. I don't know.
No, I think she was liked. I think she was sort of respected as someone who's like
Okay.
Yeah, there's no getting rid of Kathy Lee. She's been around forever. So, and I think she was a name on pretty much everyone's lips, certainly in the States. So
But she seems they actually portray her like a nice person in the episode.
Oh yeah. They don't really sink the boots into her all that much. A little bit because they do a little bit because they mention how I think it's the mayor's two aides are saying something about she likes kids, especially when they're working in a sweatshop, and she was involved in some kind of sweatshop scandal because she had a clothing line that was apparently put together in a sweatshop in Honduras or something along those lines.
That'll do it.
Apparently, she did a lot of public work to make amends for that once it sort of came to light.
She didn't know it was happening until she got caught.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's right. The other funny thing is, given this episode's Weight Gain 4000 and beefcake, Kathy Lee actually did sort of advertise Slim Fast diet shakes. She was the spokeswoman for that back in the day as well. So, and while we're talking about Kathy Lee, we should mention that she made appearances on shows like Seinfeld, which a couple of enterprising dudes might be doing a podcast about. You never can tell. She also appeared on The Simpsons, which,
Did she really? Who did she appear as herself?
I think she appeared as herself. I'm sorry, I don't have the date down here about that.
Must have been a later episode, because I don't remember an earlier season.
Yeah, but she also lent her voice to one of your shows of choice, Hey Arnold, I believe she was on at some stage.
Oh, shit, yeah. A lot of people actually voice characters in Hey Arnold.
Yeah,
Great show.
And she also appeared on 30 Rock, which...
Okay,
that's what now these are just like 4 or 5 shows out of a multitude. If you go to a Wikipedia page, you're going to be there for days because you're just scrolling down show after show after show after show after show. If you talk about going to the opening of an envelope, I think Kathy Lee goes to the opening of a door. So
and you don't get invited to do all those gigs if you're not good.
There is that. Yeah, I mean, and she's still working today. So props to Kathy Lee.
I also loved in this episode Cartman's lack of giving a shit about what people think about him. There's elements of him where I'm just like, you're a horrible person, but there's also other elements where I'm like, you're my spirit animal.
Now, but you've got to wonder, Dano, is it self-confidence or is it self-delusion?
Yeah, it is delusion.
He's pushing the size of a house by the end of it, but he's, still convinced, like, got my tank top on, I'm looking totally So, dude, not really. You're looking like the Blob.
You're looking like that. Remember that fat baby? You look like a little sumo wrestler. Remember that big fat baby?
There's a number of fat babies. Oh, are you thinking of the is it the baby that looks like it's like 6 years old or something? It's sitting on its on its dad, and it's like, are you a baby? Because he, honest to God, looked like a child.
Yeah.
It's so creepy. I'm like,
crazy.
I honestly thought that was like a hoax. Like they'd shaved like a 5-year-old's head or something, and put it in a nappy, just to get some social media clout or something.
What was your favourite moments from this episode, Mr. Davis?
I already alluded to this on the patrons page, on the Four Finger Disco patrons page. I loved Chef's backing band. Just this trio, the bass guy really going for it, tapping the legs, and
this is like their peak. So
I don't know if we ever see them again, but oh gosh, I enjoyed seeing them. Just the little cutaways, and I just got a big grin on my face every time they appeared. And while we're talking about secondary characters or supporting characters, look, it's in very bad taste, I know, but. And I mentioned them earlier, but the mayor's aides, those 2 guys, and that one guy in particular who's just making these dreadful jokes or tracking these dreadful one-liners. I think the mayor says something about Chef like, oh, that's right, he's a black man, isn't he? As black as the night itself, Mayor. It's like, what?
When he said, I was like, oh my.
Yeah, it's a terrible line, but at the same time, it's like, well, I get the feeling this guy's a terrible person, so that's one of the rules of, I think it's one of the rules of comedy. Yeah, you've got to create some terrible characters so they can say the terrible things that will...
It's like Mo on The Simpsons, yeah.
Essentially, yeah. And then at the end, when he says that line about, Kathy Lee liking kids if there's a sweatshop, it's like, oh, ouch, thank you. Just like he's doing his tight 5 at the Yuck Yuck Hut, and everyone just, oh, thank you. Thought that was just marvelous. Oh, Dando, what did you enjoy out of this episode?
I obviously liked just any reference to beefcake, but I also really liked Ma'am, I need a for tomorrow. It's like, I'll get it at the I'm going to shopping tomorrow, dear. Ma'am, like, this is just Elliot. It's just Elliot. And then the best part is when she goes, well, I'll just go to the shop then, and just the smile on his face. Like, that is just so how it is.
Yeah.
It's just so how it is. I also loved this had me, I don't know, it's the delivery, obviously, but I literally had to pause because I couldn't breathe for a moment. Garrison looking through the scope. Come on, you little bitch. Holy fuck, man. That had me like in stitches. Come on, you little bitch.
I'm wondering which voices they enjoyed doing most. I mean, I think...
my God. The way he said that fuck was great.
I think clearly they enjoy doing Cartman, but I really think they do enjoy doing Mr. Garrison and Mr. Hat. I think they enjoy doing those voices a whole lot.
Oh, I think you should ask Mr. Hat.
I think you should talk to Mr. Hat. But that whole thing about... You mentioned how you sort of will just drop beefcake into your everyday sort of everyday lingo. I think I do that with... But ma'am, I need it for tomorrow. Just, whenever something's not going, according to plan or according to schedule, I'll just sort of mutter that. I need it for tomorrow. Oh dear, poor
little bitch.
Poor listeners, you're just going to be getting a whole lot of us doing South Park
so
voices.
It's fucking great though.
Oh, marvelous!
It's so great. But there's also, I really love the line of This is the scene I like the most of Cartman just not giving a shit. And it's almost he knows what he says. This makes no sense. He's just saying it to just take the piss and piss off Kyle and Stan. But they go, dude, dolphins are intelligent and friendly. Intelligent and friendly on ripe berries and mayonnaise. He's just being a smartass. I'm like, this kid's amazing.
Just a terrible human being. And of course, those levels of terribleness just escalate even further as the show goes along.
Another quote we get from this episode, tree hugging hippie crap.
Tree hugging hippie crap. And screw you hippie.
Screw you hippie. I remember having a poster of Cartman, just says screw you hippie on it. Yeah.
You reminded me, I'm going to have to take a photograph of this. I've still got it on the wall. But when South Park first started, my nephew and unofficial son, Rory, my sister's son, who he and I have a great deal in common. I don't have any children of my own, but if I did, Rory would be my son. He was very into South Park when it came out, and he was the right age for it because I think he was still in single digits, or maybe just approaching 10 or so. I'm going to have to... No, he'd be around 10 or 11. My apologies, Rory. But he'd...
Like a true dad, forgetting your son's age.
I know, I'm a shocking dad. It's a good thing that I'm not a real dad. He drew this wonderful full-colour picture of Cartman with Cartman across the top. I've still got it on the wall here. I'm going to take a picture of it and put it up on the page.
Yeah, do it.
It was marvellous.
I've still got my original cast South Park poster, like the full cast from like 1998. So when I say full cast, it's the original full cast. It's one of my favourite posters ever. I had it on my wall for like a decade when I was younger. Yeah, I've still got it somewhere in the garage. I have to take a photo of that as well.
Yep.
So trivia for Weight Gain 4000. Hit me, Mr. Davis. What's your first question?
What was Wendy's essay about?
Well, it was about dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, and how to prevent them from getting caught in nets. I don't know.
You're very, very close. The suffering of bottlenose dolphins.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to give you a point for that.
1 point. I'll take it. Wherever I can get it.
All right.
My first question is, what are the effects of taking Weight Gain 4000?
I think I had this.
What are your questions?
Damage to where? Kidneys and liver, I believe is...
yes, irreversible damage to the kidney and liver. Yep.
Which gun does Jimbo first suggest Mr. Garrison buy?
That's my next question.
Oh, the Stratford 12mm?
The Stratford 12mm, yes. Okay. I wrote that question going, there's no fucking way you would have picked this one up. All right. Well, I've got one more question left then that hasn't been used. It is, how much saturated fat is in a serving of Weight Gain 4000?
Oh, God, that's a very good question. That's one that I don't know the answer to.
Have a think about it.
I want to say 4,000 grams?
Correct.
Hey!
Over 4,000 grams of saturated fat per serving.
Nice work, brain. I have one question left. What is the incorrect name that the mayor gives Eric Cartman when he is coming to the stage?
Damn it, I should have known that. No, what is it?
It is Eric Kaufman.
Kaufman, of course. Yeah, because when she said it, I immediately thought of Andy. Yeah. All right, guys, that is trivia for Weight Gain 4000. Stick around after this short break. We'll be back with our full in-depth review. If you're a fan of everything we do here at Four Finger Discount, you can show your support by joining the family at patreon.com/fourfingerdiscount. Here you'll get ad-free early access to all of our shows, Zoom calls with Guy and myself, as well as bonus podcasts such as Tales of Futurama and Guy on Springfield, where we go back and revisit classic episodes from the first 10 seasons. So go ahead and join the family today at patreon.com/fourfingerdiscount. The original air date of Weight Gain 4000 was August 20th in 1997. What do you reckon you were doing in 1997, Mr. Davis, besides watching South Park?
1997 was a big year for me, actually.
Okay. Is that when you got married?
No, but I met the woman who became my wife that year.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'd moved to Melbourne for the first time. I'd got my first full-time 9-to-5 job. I'd been working as a freelance journo up until that point, which was not really paying the bills. So I started a 9-to-5 job in the city. Met a nice gal.
Doing what? Doing what?
It's I won't say it's a very boring job, but it was in contract publishing, which meant we put out magazines. We wrote, produced, and distributed magazines for various companies, like the ANZ Bank. National Mutual Insurance was one of our clients as well. So we would do these magazines that they would send out to their business clients, and they were basically success stories of small businesses that use their products. Yeah.
You too can be like us.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, hey, this small business used the ANZ blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Now they're not broke, or, now he's whatever.
Just for the younger listeners out there, can you just explain to them what a magazine is?
It's like the internet, but in paper form. The internet you carry around. So, yeah, that was 1997 for me. I was gainfully employed, romantically involved, living in the big city, and, yeah, little guy was growing up.
Living the high life.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you're a big boy then.
And watching South Park.
Yes, exactly right. Alrighty, so the episode was written and directed, obviously, by both Trey and Matt. Kicks off with, I thought the episode started a little bit slow compared to last week. Started off with a bang. I thought. I mean, you had the discussion about. Maybe it wasn't really a bang, but I just thought last week's discussion was more funny.
Yeah.
This one here started with the discussion about the rainbows. And I thought, what did Cartman think they meant?
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, what do you think crawls up your leg and bites the inside of your ass?
That he could be confused as the word rainbow. He's like, oh, rainbow. I was like, are they implying that I should have known what he meant?
No, I think it's a complete nonsense thing. I think Cartman is thinking of something entirely different that has nothing to do with rainbows, but he sort of wants to cover his butt by saying, oh, you mean rainbows.
I think they just sort of had this conversation because last week, I think they want to start each episode, it seems, for the first two anyway, with these kids having a conversation that's using coarse language, a little bit outrageous, just so you go, oh yeah, that's right, the kids are naughty. It just sort of paves the way for what the show is. I guess the basis of the show is a bunch of kids not behaving like kids, although really they are behaving like kids, but not how you expect to see kids on television.
You're not dealing with the Olsen twins here. It's not really...
Yeah.
What did the Olsen twins say? Was it cool dude or something along those lines? Or
something like that.
You got it, dude, or something along those lines?
Yeah, you got it, dude. Yeah.
It's like, no, kids say stuff like, kick ass.
Yeah. Biff cake. So Mr. Garrison discusses about how they did the Save Our Fragile Planet essay contest, and the winner is going to announce it. Wendy thinks it's her. It turns out to be Cartman. Even he can't believe that he won. And I like that actually throughout the episode, you knew he cheated in some way.
Yeah.
But you didn't really know how. I thought the end result was kind of a little bit flat. I'm just thought, oh, well, that's the obvious reason, but I would have thought that Trey and Matt would have thought of something a bit more creative than that. I don't know. But still, it's fine.
I think it's actually pretty funny that Cartman has basically just taken this, an American classic, Walden by Henry David Thoreau. I mean, it's quite a beloved book in American culture, and just scribbled out Thoreau's name and put his own on it. And the adults in South Park are just so dense or, so preoccupied or just apathetic. There's like, I don't know. This looks like it's got a lot of words in it. Seems intelligent. Okay, yeah, Cartman, you win.
I've already discussed this story on 4 Figure Discount, so I won't go into it too much. But I just remember we had a contest, horror story writing contest, short story contest, like Halloween themed, right? And I'll never forget, I thought my story was fucking great, right? And I made it through to the 3 finalists out of the whole school. So it wasn't just like a year 3 thing. I was in grade 3 at the time, and this grade 6 girl won it. And she was one of my best friend's older sisters. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Kate won it. And then they read out her story, or she read out her story at the assembly. And I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I got this little Halloween gift pack thing for Christmas the year before, well, for my birthday the year before. And I had a little short story book in there. It was this fucking story, word for word. And I was like, what do I do here? Do I dob in my best friend's sister so I can claim victory, or do I let it slide? I eventually dobbed her in, as you naturally would do, because I wanted that first prize. But still, I'll never forget being sitting there thinking, oh, well, if it was better than my story, it obviously deserved to win. And then she started reading it out and going, you little bitch.
Oh, God, no wonder Garrison's your spirit animal.
Wow. What did you write about, Cartman? You know, this and that.
He doesn't even know what he wrote about.
What was your paper about, Wendy?
My paper was on the suffering of bottlenose dolphins.
Well, you see, you shouldn't have written a paper about dolphins. Dolphins are stupid.
Dude, dolphins are like the second smartest animal on the planet.
Right. If they're so damn smart, how come they get caught in those fishing nets all the time?
What?
I love the way he antagonizes Wendy and all the other kids. If they're so smart, then why are they always getting caught in those damn fishing nets?
Did you know anyone like that when you were growing up? Like some kid who was just...
Oh, yes. There was
just a
kids that
they
were just there just to piss people off.
Just an absolute shit stirrer. Yeah.
They wouldn't even do well in school. They weren't there to learn anything. They were just there to try and make sure that you didn't learn either. This is where Garrison announces that Kathy Lee Gifford will be awarding the prize on national television. And this is intriguing to him, isn't it?
It is. And look, it's very much sort of a sign of the times. It's very much a pre-internet kind of thing, or an early days of internet kind of thing. I mean, being on TV was a huge deal before YouTube, before you know.
Even being on the radio was a huge deal.
Oh yeah, before you could sort of make your own radio or make your own TV, and you could seize the means of production. But
and you had to watch it then and there because you didn't know whether it's going to be repeated again or not.
That's true. Yeah. So it became a very big deal that Kathy Lee is coming to town and bringing a TV crew with her.
Ma'am McDaniels is very excited for the opportunity to show what she's done to South Park and how she's turned this little hole around.
Kathy Lee Gifford in South Park. Oh my God, this is our chance to make a name for ourselves, to show that we're not just some pissant white bread mountain town.
Better yet, it's a chance for you to get some publicity.
Yes, if I can show just how much I've turned South Park around, I could become a senator.
Maybe even a state senator. Mayor, we should decorate the town square. Then we should have the chef of the school cafeteria sing a song and play up the ethnic diversity of our town.
That's right. He's a black guy, isn't he?
Black as the night itself, Mayor.
Yes, and we can even have the children of South Park put on a little play. Kathy Lee loves children.
If they're working in a sweatshop, that is. Oh! Ouch. Thank you.
Just love it. Thank you.
Yeah. He's so proud of himself.
Just the hands. Put the hands up like that.
Yeah. I'm here all week. We're now in the cafeteria, and Cartman thinks he's going to be famous. Chef's also very excited because he's got a big crush on Kathy Lee, hasn't he? She's beautiful, sultry queen of sexual fantasy.
You can't say enough about Isaac Hayes.
He's better in this episode than the first episode. He's sensational.
I think so, yeah. Beautiful queen of sexual fantasy.
Hello there, children.
Hey, Chef.
How are my little crackers today?
Good.
Did y'all hear about the news? Kathy Lee Gifford is coming to South Park.
Yeah, because Cartman cheated and won the environmental essay contest.
Yeah, or whatever. But the mayor just called and asked me to sing at the ceremony.
Wow. Are you going to do it?
Of course. Kathy Lee is a beautiful, sultry queen of sexual fantasy. And if I sing to her, maybe I can lure her into a night of exotic delectation.
I love here also when Kenny says something. You know what he says? Oh, mine's 3 times bigger than Frank Gifford's anyway.
How is Kenny so much more sort of advanced? What do you think he's being exposed to? I'm guessing that
he's got a pretty rough life at home, hasn't he?
I'm guessing his dad is probably not even hiding his porno mags.
That's what I was going to say. He's one of those kids who the dad doesn't give a shit. Dad's just watching porn. He's like, son, do you want to come watch? You know?
Yeah. Don't waste money on your own porno. Just borrow some of mine.
Well, it's funny because I used to have one of my best mates, still one of my best mates. I haven't seen him for a while, but Daniel was his name. I won't say his last name. But no, he was like the Kenny of our group. But it's literally, he was also the kid that when we go to his house, his dad, Rod, God bless him, we love Rod, his wardrobe, right?
Yeah.
from the floor, as always.
Do we want to say this? We might get Rod on a list here. We might
we used to walk into the bedroom, in his mum and dad's bedroom, and had the wardrobe, the 4 doors, or 2 doors that slide. The left side, you slide it open. No shit, from floor to about 3/4 up was just all People magazines, or picture magazines. That's just...
picture.
We'd have them out sprawled across the bed, looking at them, and we'd always try to make sure we put them back in the same order that we found them. Yeah. But Rod knew.
Picture and People. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. It was just, it's just funny. Daniel Jones was the Kenny of our group, and he also was the guy who had access to his dad's porno magazines. So you're pretty much right on the money then.
Here we go.
It wasn't fair. She had choreography. How could we compete with that? But now she's coming to South Park, and I know a way to make it all better. How? No, Mr. Hat. I couldn't kill Kathy Lee Gifford.
And this is where we get a real insight into the loony side of Mr. Garrison, isn't it?
The twisted dynamic between Mr. Garrison and Mr. Hat. Yeah.
Well, he's envisioning a puppet speaking to him. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. But I just love the flashback to Mr. Garrison as a little boy, and he's bald.
Yeah, it's just a miniature. Apparently, there's a continuity issue because in Cartman's Mum's a Dirty Slut, there's a flashback to Garrison, and he's not like this.
Oh, okay.
But I don't give a fuck.
I think this is...
this is funny.
Yeah, I think this is Mr. Garrison, just getting in touch with his inner child, so to speak, So, yeah, we'll let it slide this time. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And what's good is that he says the joke that is always like the first joke that every kid learns. Besides why the chicken crossed the road, it's, aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Like, that's literally the first knock-knock joke that where you learn it, you understand it and go, holy fuck, I'm going to blow someone's mind with this.
Oh, yeah.
and you go and tell some adult and they pretend like they've never heard it before. Oh, jeez, you got me.
Yeah. At which point you go, thanks. Ouch. Thank you.
Oh man, but she wins. Kathy Lee Gifford wins with choreography and everything. I mean, let's be serious. Her performance was pretty sensational.
It's pretty wild. I mean, she assembled a very she put together an incredible show, but shows a fair degree of talent herself. Doing I've forgotten what that number's from. It might be from the show Sweet Charity. I think if they could see me now, but. Look, I think she earned it. In all honesty, I mean, look,
definitely, yeah.
A for effort for Mr. Garrison and his ventriloquist act, but no, Kathy Lee, absolutely the winner.
So this is where Mr. Hat whispers something in his ear, just Garrison whispering to himself, I couldn't kill Kathy Lee Gifford. Good cut to commercial there, really. I mean, just a lot happened. I said it started a bit slow, but storyline-wise, a lot happened in the first act.
It picks up the pace.
Everything it needed to. Yeah,
it definitely picks up the pace very quickly. So
the mayor is now at the school in class saying that she wants him to do a play about the history of South Park. This doesn't go well either, does it?
No.
We get Mr. Hat saying you need to kill her. Just insane. Then Wendy goes to dob him in, just to the mayor. Who cares? Kathy Lee Gifford's coming to Southland. That's all that matters. She tells... I can understand why she said this, but still, it's kind of cruel. She wants Cartman to get into shape because he's going to be on television. He's a child.
I know, but I imagine she thinks she's doing it for the kid's own good. It's like, you want to look good on TV, don't you?
That's not for his own good at all. She just wants to. She doesn't want that to represent the town that she's created.
Okay, I was trying to be a glass half full kind of guy here, Dana, but yeah, you're right. It's very selfish.
There's no glass half full of Mayor McDaniels.
I'm gonna be on television.
don't believe for a minute that you won that contest fairly, fat boy.
Stop defending your little girlfriend for writing about some stupid fish.
Dude, dolphins are intelligent and friendly.
Intelligent and friendly on rye bread with some mayonnaise.
Dolphins are way smarter than you.
If they're so smart, why do they live in igloos?
Dolphins don't live in igloos. That's Eskimos.
Dolphins, Eskimos, who cares? It's all a bunch of tree-hugging hippie crap.
Tell me what you wrote about.
I can't. I have to go home and get in shape.
Yeah, right. You'll go and sit in front of the TV and eat cheesy poofs, ass master.
Screw you, hippie.
Cartman, he's just incredible. I just love the way he attacks her all the time. He just pulls no punches. He just doesn't give a shit.
Does he do his television song here as well? I'm going to be on television. I'm going to be on
How iconic is that?
Yeah. And that's so 7 or 8 years old as well. Just, singing a nagging little song like that and thinking you're, just the height of comedy or the most sophisticated kid on the block. I'm going to be on television. Sorry, that was a bit sort of Eddie Murphy and Delirious. I want some ice cream.
Oh, it's I've got McDonald's hamburgers.
See, that's
McDonald's.
I'm sorry.
McDonald's.
That's the line I use all the time as well. Whenever I'm sort of cooking myself, I'm gonna make you a burger that's better than McDonald's.
Better than McDonald's.
Better than McDonald's.
That is one of my favorite Eddie Murphy. That's like one of mine and Nicola's little things. Every time she says, "Can you pass me the eggs?" What you need the eggs for? I want hamburger. Oh man, so good. If you have not, by the way, checked out Eddie Murphy's Raw segment on his mama making him some homemade burgers better than McDonald's, it is so amazing. Like I literally, every time I watch it, I'm just in tears of laughter. Yeah, it's so great.
By all means, check out Eddie Murphy's live stand-up specials, Delirious and Raw. Although, be warned,
go with an very open mind.
They are very much of their time, and
yes.
The mid-'80s, and Eddie Murphy is a much younger man, hasn't been around the block all that much, so some of his attitudes may strike you as a little unenlightened. But having said that, holy shit, one of the most dynamic, charismatic performers on the planet. When Eddie's cooking, there is just no one like him.
I'll take half his shit.
Half!
Half.
Eddie, what have you done for me lately, Eddie?
Let's stop quoting it.
Let's not. We'll be here all night talking about Eddie Murphy. Rather than talking about South Park, let's talk about South Park.
So he's going home to get into shape, and you get the screw you hippie and everything. It's just this whole discussion. We get like, I'm going to be on television, tree hugging hippie crap, screw you hippie, just so many one-liners that would become a staple. Well, I don't know if they've even used all that often in the series after that. I can't remember in the early episodes, but they were just used in day-to-day life.
You never hear beefcake again, I don't think, do you? Probably. Like there might be 1 or 2 callbacks, but
it was just all it needed was to be said in one episode, and it was just instilled forever in pop culture.
It's not a catchphrase or anything like that.
No, it's not like a you killed Kenny, you bastard kind of thing.
No.
It's just,
beefcake is just this episode, really, but it's in there. It's in the collective consciousness.
It's also up there, maybe even not quite up there with "You will respect my authority." Can't wait till we get to that episode. So great. He sees the commercial here for Weight Gain 4000. I love that he's going home to get into shape. He's sitting on the couch eating cheesy puffs.
But just the Weight Gain 4000 spokes dude.
Just amazing.
Just yelling at you.
It's just literally 1997 infomercial.
Oh, yeah. Because it's funny. You think about the early 90s, and for someone who was around, I mean, it was the social mood of the time was a bit like it is now. It was kind of a pre-woke era.
Okay, so I don't remember really anything about the early 90s. I was too young.
Grunge, riot girls. It was a very sort of socially conscious time, but sometime in the late 90s, there was a bit of a swing back to dude bros and hot chicks. And
extreme.
And everything got extreme. I'm pretty sure it was around 96 or 97 that it really started to turn. And this guy, the Weight Gain 4000 guy, is just an exemplar of that. Just like, hey, you want to stop being a wimp? Get in shape. That's what 50% of television was like.
It reminds me kind of like Terry Crews. He's very just like, yeah.
But Terry Crews is kind of a sweetheart as well.
Oh, he's 100% a sweetheart.
He doesn't strike you as someone who's like, hey, wimp, get in shape. Whereas,
Okay, he says it in an ironic way. This guy in the Weight Gain 4000 dude that will walk up to you in the gym, making fun of how the way you're lifting the barbells. It's like, just fuck off, leave me alone. Let me be a wimp.
Yeah, I'm not on the juice, bro. So I mean, I'm not going to look like you because I'm not, putting horse steroids into my nuts or something.
Mom, can you get me some Weight Gain 4000?
Okay, Eric. I'll get you some at the store tomorrow.
But, Mom, I need it for tomorrow.
But tomorrow is grocery day, Eric. Okay. Well, I guess I'll be going to the store now then.
It's literally what happens to Elliot. You can see when he's about to do it because he's just like, I'll say, go into bed. Not yet. And I'm like, no, we're going to bed now. And the bottom lip starts going, I'm like, oh God, here we fucking go. Nicola is not a huge fan of South Park, but I showed her this moment and she loved it. She thought it was just so bang on. Then we get Mr. Garrison having some nightmares about Kathy Lee. She's really hit him hard, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, she's got in there. She's got under his skin.
Yeah. She's in his head for sure. We get the Mr. Hat telling him to go kill her, so he chucks him in the drawer. Because what I liked about it here was Mr. Garrison's crazy, and Mr. Hat is speaking to him. So it's Mr. Garrison essentially speaking to himself, but he's still trying to push that aside.
It's a Jekyll and Hyde.
He doesn't just go
thing,
immediately to kill. He's like, I know that's wrong. I'm trying to get rid of it. It's actually kind of sad in a way. Like he needs help, but he's not getting it.
He does near the end, however, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But you're right. I mean, Mr. Hat seems to be like the more dominant part of this dynamic. But no, I think it's pretty much a fair fight. Mr. Garrison is kind of like, no, I don't think we should do that. And so, I think it's a fair fight for the most part. Although, maybe not a fair fight, but Mr. Garrison is at least putting up a fight. It's a bit Smeagol and Gollum, is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say Garrison has Flanders tendencies, but just if you eliminate the religious side of things, where he
a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's not
suppressed. Yeah,
a bit sort of. I want to say sort of Dudley Do-Right kind of, that kind of voice. Dudley Do-Right's probably not the right term for it, but yeah, I think there's some surface similarities at least. Yeah, and just in the way they present themselves.
You stay in the drawer, you negative Nancy. Cartman arrives at the bus stop and this is where we get the first glimpse at the beefcake tank top. Man, I would wear this. It's just so great.
Hey, dudes.
What the hell is wrong with you, Cartman? Haven't you noticed the 3 feet of snow on the ground?
Listen, I have a nice body and I want to show it off. You got that?
What? You've got to weigh 90 pounds.
I'm up to 94, thank you very much.
Yeah, they're almost as big as his mom's.
That's all you want. I'm the one who's gonna be on TV looking all buff.
What's that stuff?
Weight Gain 4000. It's helping me bulk up.
Bulk up to what? Fat ass? Super fat ass?
Hey! I don't have to take that kind of crap from you scrawny weakling! Sweet. Check me out. Such a beefcake I can't even get through the door.
I'm such a beefcake, can't even get through the door.
One little bit that I loved, one little visual gag is that you've got a little bit of Cartman.
The teacher?
No, the Cartman butt crack as he's trying to get up the stairs.
Oh, yes.
Just a tiny little bit. But that's something you would see in our heavier set pals.
The mayor is getting all the town ready. They're going to castrate the cows. Poor cows just don't get treated well in South Park. At all.
No.
Turned inside out, castrated. Terrible. It's where they do the run through of the play, the story of South Park. So when I first saw this, I was like, are they actually beating each other up? Nope, yep, they were. They'll beat the shit out of each other.
Well, yeah, then you see that kid bleeding out after he cops a rifle butt to the head. I must admit, I did laugh at that.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And just when she says to Mr. Garrison, you can't do this. Well, this is how it happened.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing about Parker and Stone. They're just, I won't say addicted to telling the truth, but I think they realise that, no, if you show the sort of unvarnished, ugly truth, it's funny, but your laugh has kind of got a bit of a, oh no, kind of thing to it.
This is where Mr. Garrison gets in big trouble because she says, do you think Kathy Lee would like this? To hell with Kathy Lee. That's it. He is fired. He is dismissed from his role, and he is not happy about it at all. He takes Mr. Hat out of the drawer. That's when you know shit's about to go down. He says, we're going to have to do it. Well, no, he says, I can't do it. Mr. Hat will have to do it.
Like I said, Smeagol and Gollum. Gollum comes out to do the dirty work.
I love that. Cartman's now fatter than ever. They're going to say, God damn, that's a big fat ass. No, they won't. And then, God damn, it's a big fat ass.
Who is that character? Is that just like I
think that's just that's your wise guy. It's your wise guy.
Yeah,
basically.
Random passerby. God damn, that's a big fat ass.
Whoa, Cartman. Talk about wide load.
Yeah, I'm really starting to fill out nicely.
You're not filling out nicely. You're fatter than ever.
I'm not fat. I'm getting in shape.
Cartman, you're such a fat ass that when you walk down the street, people go, God damn it, that's a big fat ass.
No, they don't, you jealous wigling.
God damn, that's a big fat ass.
Hey!
But just how enthusiastic they are about it as well. It's like they've seen like a UFO or, a really great billboard on the first of the month. God damn, that's a big fat ass. You didn't have to say anything, sir.
Wendy arrives, Cartman here. Oh, look, it's another hippie. Peace, Wendy. He's just a little shithead.
Oh,
it's just so great.
He's so cruel.
She says she's going to find Cartman's paper and prove that he lied. Garrison then goes to Jimbo's store. He's been all a bit of a recluse. He's trying not to be seen by anybody out there. And this is actually our first introduction to Jimbo.
It is.
Who has a more prominent role in the next episode, Volcano. But this is here. So obviously he's not introduced as the uncle here yet. He's just the hermit, I guess you could say, of South Park.
Yeah, and also the resident gun salesman.
I did like the way Garrison was like trying to justify which gun that he wanted. Like, you talking to me? You talking to me? That's just like the quote when people are trying to act tough, looking in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to me?
Everyone's got to do the taxi driver Travis Bickle thing when they've got a good gun in their hand. Like, you talking to me? You must be talking to me.
He ends up buying the same gun but with a wood finish. Then Wendy sneaks into the school after hours to try and find the paper. She finds it, but before we can see what it is, she overhears Mr. Garrison coming in and he arrives with the gun and she knows, oh shit, I'm going to have to do something about this. So we now come back from commercial and Officer Barbrady's just a dickhead, isn't he? I mean, he means well, but he's a really inept police officer.
He's a doofus. I think that's the best way to describe him. He's a doofus.
He's Chief Wiggum, just amped up to 1,000,000. Yeah.
Howdy, Mr. Garrison. Nice gun.
Thank you.
Nice gun, Mr. Garrison.
Thanks. Hello, Officer Barbrady.
Nice gun.
Thanks. Is there somewhere in town where I can get a good, clear shot or view of Kathy Lee?
You know, I think the book depository would be a good bet.
Yes, that might do quite nicely. Thank you, Officer Barbrady.
No problem. Ha! Caught you red-handed. No pictures of Kathy Lee.
Cartman is now absolutely enormous. It's great how every time you see him, he's just getting fatter and fatter to the point where it's just unrealistic. But it's South Park, so who gives a shit?
True. And I think this is the first occasion. Well, I mean, he said beefcake before then because he's sort of echoing the ad, but now he's really into it. He really means it. And this is when people say beefcake, I think this is what they're echoing. It's like, I'm looking totally ripped. Beefcake. Beefcake.
Beefcake. Yeah, that's the second. Beefcake! But I think my favourite delivery of the word beefcake was when he was watching the infomercial and he just starts screaming it with the guy. He's just giving it everything.
Oh, yeah, just really straight. Beefcake!
Yeah.
Oh, listeners at home, I hope you're not taking a drink every time we say beefcake because you're just in so much.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. But it's just, I think if you're listening to an episode review of this episode, then you're going to have to expect to hear beefcake at least 1,000 times.
Absolutely.
Wendy explains Garrison's plans and they're going to have to do something about it. Cartman thinks that she's just trying to ruin the plan. He doesn't, like you said, he is delusional because it was the first episode where, an anal probe literally exited his anus and he still didn't believe that he'd been probed. Here, he thinks that it's all just a cover up. It's all just a plot to try and prove him wrong. He thinks Wendy's just lying about Garrison wanting to kill Kathy Lee, but she's not. She knows why he cheated and how, but there's no time to explain it right here. It's a good little tease that they've got going throughout the episode. It's not at the forefront, but now and then she pops up, and it's like, as a viewer, what did he do? Because you know that he didn't write a good paper. Do you think a good ending would have been the fact that he actually did write a good paper?
It's a possible ending. I like the way it wrapped up. I like the way it resolved.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't buy it because Cartman wouldn't have been able to. Yeah.
No.
It does fit the Cartman character the way it did end. So Kathy Lee now arrives in a cell, and we get the "Come on, you little bitch."
We love you, Kathy Lee!
We love you too.
Come on, you little bitch.
I thought the animation of him looking through the scope looked great.
It did too.
Really well done.
I like that she was in the little the plastic sort of Pope cover or whatever you call it with "God bless" on it.
The way they had her voice muffled and everything, I thought it was just really well done.
And everyone's just so in awe of it. I mean, it's one thing that I like about Parker and Stone is that these are guys who are outsiders making their way in Hollywood. At the start of their career, they didn't really have too many qualms about, no, we're not sucking up to anyone. They don't really seem to have a lot of respect for the whole celebrity industry or complex or anything like that.
That's true, yeah, but it's like you said earlier. It's not that they have anything against a particular celebrity. It's just meant to be a joke.
Yeah.
You know? And obviously, celebrities, they have every right to be offended.
Of course, yeah.
Be offended by it, that's fine. But don't think that Trey and Matt have anything against you personally.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do, certainly. But I don't think they're playing the man whenever they... That's a sort of a sporting term, folks. Sorry, but they're not playing the man. They're not sort of they're not having a go at an individual target, saying, "Oh, you suck." They're more playing the ball, which is like, why is everyone worshipping these people? You know, they're just like us, really. I mean, sure, they're on TV or they're a movie star or whatever, but you know, they're really just a human being. So I think they're more taking the piss out of that than anything else.
They're just like you and I.
Yeah. Except better.
In many, many ways, of course. This is when the mayor introduces Chef to sing his song. I'll let you take this away, Mr. Davis, because I know how much you love Isaac.
Oh, look, there's not much to say other than it's just it's a very smooth, sultry sex jam, essentially. Isaac Hayes is really, really just making a meal of it, as he is wont to do. And it's interspersed with cuts of this trio backing him up, you know.
Having a great time as well.
Having a great time. Like I said, that bass player was just really tapping his foot, and that white afro guy on keys has got a huge grin on his face. And, oh, Kathy Lee, you're my sexual fantasy. Oh, I would implore any listener of this podcast to get on YouTube or Spotify or whatever and just listen to some classic Isaac Hayes. The man... I think he named one of his albums, one of his best-selling albums, called Hot Buttered Soul. And honestly, that's what it sounds like. It just sounds, ooh, yeah.
Whilst you're there, check out the band Heatwave as well.
Absolutely, you should, yes. That got Dando and I through many an afternoon of pop culture. Honestly, we found this album by a band called Heatwave, like pure 70s. Are they white dudes? I think they, or is it like a bit of a multicultural,
as a
multiracial coalition? We thought, oh, look at these naff wankers, you know, in their flares and big lapels.
No, amazing.
We put it on, taking the piss.
Everyone sort of looked at each other and went,
"This is a jam."
I'm really enjoying this, but no one else has said they're enjoying it, so I don't know whether I can say it.
I don't know. I don't know who piped up. It might have been Crute. Crute might have said, "This is good."
So I'm going to tell you what album it was. So it was Central Heating from 1978. That's the record we listened to.
Absolutely, but also listen to some Isaac Hayes. Look, the man created the theme from Shaft.
He's a complicated man.
No one understands him but his woman. John Shaft.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, Kathy Lee, you are a very special woman. I don't mean special in a Mary Tyler Moore way or special in an extra value meal at Happy Burger way. No. I mean special, like the song of the hummingbird as it gets ready to find that female hummingbird and make sweet love to it all night long. Just two hummingbirds moaning and groaning and letting their bodies caress and touch each other in ecstasy. Oh, Kathy Lee, how I'd love to lay you down and lick every inch of your body with my tongue.
What?
Kathy Lee, you're my sexual fantasy.
What?
How about you and me?
Thank you, Chef, for that heartwarming song.
Sweet love.
Thank you, Chef.
Oh. God bless you, Kathy Lee.
You got to give it to Chef. He had his one chance. He was going to take it, wasn't he?
And here's the thing. He doesn't think he's offended anyone at all. I love you, Kathy Lee. You know, thanks, everybody. You know, it's like, I'm glad I was up here to entertain you. You know, he thought he did a great job. And in my mind, he did.
He 100% did. The kids then go to Officer Barbrady saying, we need to find Mr. Garrison.
Officer Barbrady, Mr. Garrison is about to kill Kathy Lee. We have to find him.
What? You mean the teacher? Wait a minute.
Is there somewhere in town where I can get a good, clear shot or view of Kathy Lee?
You know, I think the book depository would be a good bet. Book depository. Damn, he could be anywhere. I'll send out an APB.
Stan then sees him in the window. Kathy Lee is now on stage, but Stan and Wendy race up to Mr. Garrison to try and talk him out of shooting her. And in doing so, they lead him to want to shoot her, but he ends up shooting Kenny instead.
I love Wendy saying, she's hurt a lot of people. It's like, she hasn't really. Well, maybe she has. No. Those poor kids in Honduras in the sweatshop, maybe.
But Kenny was on stage. Why was Kenny on stage? What had he just been doing?
That's a very good question, and I hope you'll answer it for me.
Dragging the beefcake up on stage.
Oh.
Even Kyle. He's too fat to even walk now. He gets dragged up on stage. But before Mr. Garrison shoots, you got Wendy. So Wendy actually has the Kyle role in this episode. You know what? I've learned something today. The bitch must die. So the TV stations then leave because, why would they want to be there when Kathy Lee's no longer there?
Yep.
But Cartman's he still wants to be on TV. He's like, he's beefed up for TV. He's a beefcake now. It ain't going to happen. Wendy explains what happened. So she explains the whole Walden thing. So do you want to tell our listeners at home in, 30 words or less, Walden, what is it about?
Oh, God, that's a very good question because I do have a copy of it here. Never read it.
Well, that's 19 words. Yeah, you got 11 left.
Okay. The poet and writer Henry David Thoreau went to the woods to live deliberately, as he said, and sort of wrote about solitude and getting in touch with nature and getting in touch with yourself as a result. And that's what Walden is about, apparently.
Wendy's still annoyed by this, but they try to explain to her, no one fucking cares anymore. It doesn't matter. Let's just go to Carl's. His mom's going to make us some tuna fish sandwiches. The irony. The mayor complains into the microphone. She doesn't realize the microphone's turned on. Mr. Barbrady tries to arrest Mr. Hat. I love the Scooby-Doo reference here. I mean, it gets used time and time again in various different shows, but it never gets old. I would have gotten away with it for those meddling kids.
Would have got away with it when those meddling kids. Yes, I think it's a nice tip of the hat by Matt and Trey. To animated comedies of the past or things like that. Maybe showing that they're part of a continuum, part of a through line or part of a long tradition, or maybe it's just a fun line to say. I don't know.
Elliot's new thing is Scooby-Doo. Fucking everything Scooby-Doo. Absolutely loves it. I have to sing the Scooby-Doo song before bed every night now.
Oh. Do you want to do it now for us, just quickly?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. That's it. That's all I'm singing.
Always leave them hanging. Leave them wanting more.
It's Scooby-Doo transitions into Shrek karaoke. Every night. That's the bedtime song. Every night. That's where we're at the moment. We're now at the mental home. Mr. Hat needs more therapy. Cartman is now on Geraldo. Now, was this an actual show?
This is Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo, that's right. He's the guy that did the vault, wasn't he?
The Al Capone vault that turned out to have nothing in it. Yeah. I was recently watching this documentary on Netflix called The Sons of Sam. About there was a serial killer who plagued the New York area in the 70s. He was nicknamed the Son of Sam. And this guy, the documentary is basically about, I think there's more than one guy. I think there's actually like this huge satanic conspiracy and it sort of follows this guy. But Geraldo Rivera, you sort of see a younger version of him. He was like this young go-getting newsman in New York in the 70s. And somewhere along the line, I won't say he sold out, but he became more of a tabloid kind of guy in the vein
of a smart reporter, or
in the vein of like Jerry Springer and that kind of thing. He still had legit journalistic credentials and things like that, but
he did what you have to do if you want to put money in your pockets.
I think so. I think he sold out essentially. Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, hey, no worries at all, man. Whatever gets you through the night, man. But I think he did have his own sort of talk show, that reported on the issues of the day, but a sort of a pre-Oprah kind of thing as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I think he probably would be the kind of guy who would have like a 400-pound child on.
I remember, do you ever remember the show Maury Povich?
Yeah, he's a bit Maury as well. Yeah.
You are not the father.
Whoa!
I always felt so sorry for the kids.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, terrible. But then we cut to hilarious ending, Kathy Lee in bed with Chef. He got his wish after all.
Indeed. And he got his wish and then some because, he just gave her good loving 5 minutes ago.
Yes, that's it. So, yeah, Weight Gain 4000, just as funny as I remembered it. All I could really remember was the fact that it had Kathy Lee in it and that Cartman just gets really fat.
Yeah.
But there was just, from start to finish, the first conversation, I'll admit, I was just kind of like, let's move on. This is whatever. After that first conversation about the rainbow, it was just fucking balls to the wall. So much happening. So funny. I loved the Mr. Garrison story. I loved the Cartman's just not giving a shit about what anyone thinks attitude. And yeah, it's just, and they all sort of tied in well at the end as well. That was what was cool about it. You had the chef story, the Garrison story, and the kids story, the Wendy angle with Cartman and everything, plus Cartman putting on weight. It all tied in well, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was great writing.
Yeah, I think it showed that Parker and Stone could create I won't say stereotypical, maybe to like a typical sitcom, in terms of like A story, B story, interweaving storylines, all that kind of thing, but with their own particular voice and style, with the swearing little kids and the sort of not amoral attitude, but, sort of loose morals of the town and that kind of thing. It shows that they came to play.
Yeah, and much like The Simpsons did, I think maybe even more so than The Simpsons, it feels like they've created a universe already in 2 episodes. It's not just the 4 kids. There's an entire town here. We've had Mr. Garrison, we have the chef, we have the officer, we've had the mayor, we've had Cartman's mum. We've nowhere near touched on all the characters that we would eventually see, but still, it feels like we're watching not just a show about 4 kids.
Yeah. Well, the design of the opening credits is no accident. I mean, it's very similar to The Simpsons in that regard of like you're traveling through this town and all these characters are drifting in and out of frame. You're seeing shops with various names. You're seeing, all manner of things that if you're hooked, it's going to make you want to, or even if you're slightly intrigued, it's going to make you want to go, wonder what that actually means. I wonder how that ties into the story. And you'll stick around and, eventually you'll find out.
All right, it's now time for the Weight Gain 4000 mailbag. If you want to send in your questions, just go send them to southparkmailbag@gmail.com. southparkmailbag@gmail.com. And the first question here comes from Noah Daniel. He says, what food could you eat constantly and not get sick of if you had to bulk up? And David Abbott-Smith's commented there saying 2-minute noodles. Man, I haven't had a pack of 2-minute noodles for a long time. I used to love 2-minute noodles when I was younger.
I had some the other night. But I tell you what, I'm very disappointed. And if anyone out there from Maggi is listening, they've got their, your basic 2-minute noodles, and then you've got your slightly fancier fusion, which are also quite nice. But they used to have one that was a tier up from that, and this was like you can make like a nice Korean beef noodle soup. And I finished my last one the other night. I don't think they sell them anymore. I think they might have discontinued them. I was actually online looking around saying, NQR, Maggi noodles? Because I really miss those. I mean, I could probably make my own from scratch.
I really missed them.
I really do. They were awfully tasty.
So what were they called again? What were they?
They were the fusion ones. I think it was Korean beef was the flavour.
Korean beef. So any listeners out there, if you have any in your pantry, send them our way.
Please do. They came in like a slightly fancier sort of plastic wrap as well. It was still plastic wrap, but just slightly fancier.
Are you a seasoning before or after water?
After.
Yeah, so I drain them and then chuck the seasoning in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to have friends that would chuck the seasoning in with the water. I was like, no, you're mad.
No, that's not what you do.
No, that is a mistake, sir.
Your friends are wrong.
Yes, 100%. So foods that we would bulk up on. I have mentioned KFC tenders before. I would love to just eat shitloads of that. Nicholas risotto. I mean, I love Nicholas risotto. My mum's roast beef. Amazing. I don't know, but if you're going to treat yourself, I don't know, what about you? I like a thick base chicken pizza for me. I love that.
I think I'd probably just have to go with plain McDonald's cheeseburgers minus the pickle. A quarter pounder is my Macca's burger of choice, but if I...
a quarter or a double pounder? Not a double quarter pounder, just a standard? Or
just a standard. I mean, I did have a double quarter
Standard,
pounder
yeah.
a little while ago. And it's like, I think this is a sometimes food. Yeah. Although McDonald's is actually a sometimes food, but the double quarter pounder is a sometimes food. But if you were in a real hurry to sort of bulk up, a Macca's cheeseburger, just a little one. I mean, if you're diligent, you can probably polish it off in like 3 bites.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So you get a nice...
Especially if you rip it in half before you do. Just sort of like, hop, hop, straight in.
Yeah. I don't know if this is an urban legend, but you're aware of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, right?
I'm well aware. I've seen him live, yeah.
Apparently, he had that stage in either I think it was the 80s, where he was kind of under the sway of this psychiatrist, psychologist / quack. And this guy sort of had him writing songs, and Wilson was sort of bulking up at this time, and to basically bribe him into writing a new song, he would just get bags of Macca's cheeseburgers, and any time that Wilson finished a new song, he threw him a cheeseburger. I don't know how much validity there is to that story, but I remember hearing that and saying, and thinking, that's barbaric and wrong, but also quite effective.
I was going to say, it would work on me.
Indeed.
Yes.
But I think Macca's cheeseburgers would be the one if I wanted to bulk up even more than I am now, which I don't want to do. The other sort of celebrity bulk up story I heard that was actually really funny was there was a movie called The Lovely Bones that Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson made back in the mid-2000s. Okay. And Ryan Gosling was originally cast as like the leading man, and he was playing this grieving father who's lost his daughter. And Gosling had the idea, it's like, well, I think this guy should kind of be a bit schlubby and a bit out of shape. Gosling, is usually pretty well put together. What he did was he would melt Haagen-Dazs ice cream and drink it like a milkshake.
Oh, wow.
And he put on something like 30 kilos. And then he came to New Zealand.
30 kilos?
Yeah, he put on something like 60 pounds, which I think is like close to 30 kilos.
Yeah, 25, 30 kilos, I think, yeah.
He came down to New Zealand to film the movie with Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson looked at him and said, that's not what I want at all, and fired him.
Really? Oh, man.
Look, there's probably more.
You'd think, though, you would clarify. You'd send progress photos, right?
There's probably more to the story than that. Maybe they had creative difference or something along those lines. But yeah, the general line of thinking is that,
God damn, that's
a big fat ass. Yeah, I heard Ryan Gosling from Crazy Stupid Love, not you fat ass. But yeah.
Next question here comes from Alex Jones. They say this is more of a general South Park question as opposed to an episode-specific one. But Alex says, do you prefer the wacky plots of the older episodes of the more topical current affair satire? Oh, he's meant to say or. Okay, so the wacky plots of the older episodes or the more topical current affair satire it's largely evolved into now?
Look, speaking for myself, I think I prefer the political ones. Actually, the political and sort of social hot button episodes.
You prefer the new ones?
Yeah, because
but I don't feel like the newer ones have as much rewatch value though as the original.
I think they're very much of their time. So I think you're going to have to wait a few years. And then sort of revisit it as a bit of a time capsule of the era they were made.
Even that though, it's just like what was funny in 2014. Like, I mean, watching someone take the piss out of Paris Hilton now, is it as funny as what it used to be? I don't know.
True. It can be an interesting stroll down memory lane in some regards. I think you probably have to wait about 10, 15 years though, and then you can revisit and go, oh, that's right. I mean, it gives you a real indication of what we were thinking, feeling, doing at that time.
Yeah.
Like I say now, I think I prefer the political and social ones because I think Parker and Stone are, as we said earlier, I think they're like shit stirrers, and I think issues of the day really give them opportunity to let them rip. And I don't think they're sort of one side of the political divide. I think they're very much everyone's ridiculous, and issues like this give them an opportunity to sort of poke fun at just about everything.
Well, they managed to create an entity where it just got to the point where people just went, it doesn't matter, it's just South Park. They can literally get away with anything they want now. I mean, not everything. There was at one time where what did they have to censor out?
Muhammad. Now we're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly right. So they had to censor that out. they maybe crossed the line there, I guess.
Even then, with the Muhammad stuff, they were able to take that and turn it into a commentary on how ridiculous is this? While sort of, while operating within the boundaries of what they felt compelled to do or what they were forced to do. I find that really interesting.
Final question here. Brian D. McCoy says, have you ever won any school contests? Yes, I won by default by doubling in my best mate's sister.
Any others?
I used to always win did you ever do the MS Walkathon? Was that a thing when you were in school?
We did walkathons, absolutely, yeah.
I used to always win first prize in MS Walkathon fundraisers, and it used to always be things like a bike or whatever.
Wow.
Because my dad, like I've said, my dad was a supervisor at Candy Footwear. He would take my form to work, walk around the entire factory, and every worker would chip in a few dollars, and then I would always win. Like he'd come back every time with like $300-400 every time, and I'm like, well, I've won this bike. It's mine.
What a dude! What a dude! Look, I'm still holding on to the 100% I got in a spelling test in grade 3.
Cool.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that. And also won an essay prize in year 11, which I was quite stoked about. You know, got to get up in front of the school and receive my little award, and yeah, that's me. And yeah,
you always feel a lot smarter when it's an English essay or something that you got like a perfect score.
That's true.
You know? Math is just like, yeah, it's maths, whatever. But English is like, yes, that's right.
I have created this.
Yes. So that is our review of Weight Gain 4000. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great chance for us to go back and revisit it, and I'm glad that we did because it was a hell of a lot of fun. Next week, we're going to be reviewing next episode, I should say, we're going to be reviewing Volcano, another great episode who introduces some new characters to the show that I can't wait to actually get stuck into and review as well and discuss. Don't forget, guys, to rate and review us on the iTunes store. Give us 5 stars and leave a few comments what you love about the show. And if you've got a few questions to send in or just a comment about the show, whatever you like, if you just want to get in contact with us, it is southparkmailbag@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to get back to each and every one of you. But for now, Mr. Davis, any final words for our amazing listeners out there?
Follow your podcast dreams. You can reach your podcast goals. Dano and I are living proof. Beefcake. Beefcake!